Hey guys! In this video I wanted to talk a bit about this year's Inktober challenge and my conclusions about it now that I finished the challenge for the first time. So let's get this started. Before everything, here's a disclaimer. This year there has been controversy over Inktober with the Jake Pucker and potential plagiarism of Alfonso Dunn's book. This story became quite heated and I'm not gonna talk about it at all here. I'm not on Twitter, I don't care about the Twitter wars, all the internet rage and all that stuff. Instead, I wanted to talk about the challenge itself. It's the first year I managed to finish it till the end, and I wanted just to express some of what my thoughts are on it now. So what did I learn from this? Was it a good experience or not? Would I recommend it? Would I do it again? For who I think it would be a good learning experience and for who it might not be, that sort of stuff. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to get the numbers out of the way. Since I did this challenge on Instagram, and even though I try not to care about followers too much and just draw what makes me happy, in the end the followers count still affects me a bit, and I can't lie about that. When I started the challenge, I had 1,905 followers, and 30 days later it dropped to 1,896 followers, so a -9 in total. So from a purely numbers perspective, if I had done Inktober only to write on the challenge and hope to grow my following, it was a massive failure on that part. The engagement slowly dropped as the month went on, although on a side note, drawings of women had at least twice the amount of likes, which is always funny to me. And as far as I understand, this challenge is a daily one in terms of creation. It's not the point to make a bunch of drawings in ink and then post them throughout the month. And I tried to keep my end of the bargain on this as well. But sometimes life just happens, I don't know, like a weekend with family members or just being somewhere where I couldn't take the time to draw properly. Either I tried to do 2 drawings the day before in anticipation of this and posted the second one the day after, or either I spent less time on the drawing the next day when I couldn't, and actually I done the drawing a bit too quickly, or I wasn't in the right mood to create, and it showed in the final piece. I'm always pretty disappointed with the pieces of work I created under such circumstances. As such, this was one part of the challenge that I'm not a fan of, you have to produce 1 drawing a day, and it resonates because I often hear people say to progress, just draw every day and you'll get better, just draw. But as far as I'm concerned, I would have a more nuanced approach, because I feel it's definitely possible to draw every day and just stagnate. You need to draw smartly if you want to progress. You need to actually think actively about what needs improvement after you finished your work, and seek to do better next time in that particular area. During this challenge, I didn't feel I improved my skill much, just with the quantity. Sure, I became a bit more accustomed to the brushes I used, but that's about it. Where I saw progress was because I looked at other techniques and tried to incorporate them into my own work, and it worked decently well. Another point against the drawing daily thing is that some days I just didn't feel like drawing. I had to force myself to get inspiration on the prompt I set, and this is a big no-no for me. As I do this because I love it, the moment it becomes forced, it feels a lot like work and not a passion anymore. During a normal workflow, I'd just take a break whenever I didn't feel like creating, just like these YouTube videos for example. I do them because I like it, not on a schedule or anything. Just when I have something to teach or talk about, I'll make time to create a video, but otherwise I don't force myself. And I think overall this pressure to just create every day to feed Instagram didn't make me a happy artist at all. I'm much better off creating when I'm in the mood to do so, and the results show that. However, if you do this for a living, then this does not apply to you at all, and in that case I think what I consider negatives for me could be a good amount of training if you want to have a creative job in the workforce. As far as I'm concerned, I'm employed as a graphic designer, so I need to create every day, and that's why I don't want that in my personal work. I want to separate it from my paid work. Another challenge I had to fight was the lack of inspiration, I think directly linked to the necessary output needed to complete one drawing a day, on top of everything else in your life. It may be another source of frustration with certain images I produced, because I usually spend more time thinking about it before even drawing, and the concept is already pretty mature in my head when I just start putting the pen on paper. But here sometimes I just started drawing without an idea, which could be a good exercise, but then I'd remember I had to stick to the prompt I inflicted on myself, and it felt not so good anymore. But on a more positive note, I did come up with some designs while forcing myself that I'm happy with, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have got that way if I had not stepped out of my comfort zone. So this forcing thing did actually prove useful in some aspects. It's actually kind of a mixed bag for me in terms of satisfaction on that level. I mean, overall I'm pretty happy with most of the work I produced. I like the nice consistency in my work, and I also took the time to develop a new Procreate brush just for this challenge. Sure, it wasn't fun every day, but I did get satisfaction out of it at the end. So in the end, I would do this kind of stuff again, but without the one drawing per day obligation. Maybe I'll just pick out a theme and stick to it for a while to push myself and to try other techniques or styles I never did before. But in the end, I really like it more when I can just draw what I want when I want, and it also happens to be when I make the most progress. At least that's what I feel. But there's always a negative, and this kind of approach doesn't work with social media for me, or at least not Instagram. But then again, forcing myself to draw with Instagram growth in mind doesn't make me happy. So this will be the topic for another video. In the meantime, thanks for watching till the end. If you have a second to spare, click that like button down below. I really appreciate that. And if you can, subscribe if you want to see more art tutorials and talks. And bye everyone, keep creating and have a nice day.